It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news. This is the Southwest Outdoors Report.
Hi everybody, in the almost 30 years of doing this and the previous television show, Outdoor Trails, one of my favorite lakes in our region that I always look forward to coming to is Broken Bow Lake, located in southeast Oklahoma in the Kiamichi Mountains. It's a gorgeous clear-water lake that's got 6 different species of game fish. However, it's been about 4 years since I've been here, and something important has happened in the last few years. The walleye population has exploded at Broken Bow. In fact, I would venture to say that outside a few really good lakes in Arkansas, Broken Bow is now the best walleye fishing lake to come and actually have a chance to catch walleye in the entire southwest region. On today's show, I'm going to show you where to find the walleye, the tackle and the gear that you'll need to catch them, and some of the techniques that will be successful if you'd like to plan a walleye fishing trip to Broken Bow Lake. And while we're doing that, you get fishing reports from around the rest of the region, including Louisiana, fresh and saltwater, Texas coastal fishing with Bill Olson, the Texas freshwater scene, and the rest of Oklahoma. Also this week on the Lawrence Hot Lake of the Week, I'll be showing you a fantastic catfish lake in East Texas. The catfish are about to spawn. We'll show you where to catch those. We'll have a big bass for you from the state of Arkansas on the Big Catch of the Week, the Ask the Pro answer to your fishing questions, and much more. But first, right now, we take you all the way from Broken Bow back to the Fox Sports Southwest studios. Here's Julie with the Weekend Planner.
I've got good news for the weekend. The Salooner tables indicate some of the best fishing of the month. Your prime hours this weekend will start at 10:35 a.m. on Saturday and also at 11:40 a.m. on Sunday. Expect the sun to rise at 6:36 and set at 8:12. And Saturday features a full moon, so evenings will be very well lit.
Before we head out to the next break, I'd like to introduce to you our brand new Facebook sweepstakes for a chance to fish with Gary Dollahan, our insider reporter for the state of Oklahoma. Gary knows Oklahoma waters inside and out, and here is your chance for 2 people to go and fish with Gary for a day in Oklahoma. So all you do is go to our Facebook page. The first thing you need to do is click the like button at the top right. Once you do that, click on the sweepstakes tab just below it, follow the instructions, enter the sweepstakes, and you'll have a chance to fish with our Oklahoma insider reporter, Gary Dollahan.
The Southwest Outdoors Report is brought to you by Tracker Boats, Fish the Finest, by Lawrence and the all-new HDS Gen 2 with Structure Map Overview, by Strand Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability, by Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there, and by Academy Sports and Outdoors, right stuff, low price, every day.
There's one. That feels like a walleye. Just a steady, straight pull out there in fairly deep water. Let's see what it is. This water's really clear, so you're going to be able to see him when he comes up. Come up. Come up. There he is. Oh, walleye, good one. Decent walleye. Let me see if I can ease it. Taking a chance right here. Got him. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Welcome back, everybody. Your SOR is at Broken Bow Lake today, checking out the catchable population of walleye in this lake. This has just happened in the last few years that there have gotten to be this many of them in here. I'm going to stick this one in the live well real quick, and then I want to show you how the weather impacts these fish and where you're going to find them. In you go. There are actually 2 kinds of cover that these walleye get on, dictated by the weather. Now, when you have bright skies, very little wind, no clouds, high sun, then these walleye are going to tend to get off the steeper dropping stuff. Now you see in front of me right here, this is prime stuff. That fish was out here fairly deep, 18, 20 feet deep, off of a real steep, rocky point. Now, these are all over the lake. The other kind of cover is when it's cloudy, windy, and a darker day, the fish will push up shallower and they'll get on the flatter stuff. So I'll show you a couple of quick shots of some flat points and some islands. A lot of this kind of cover in the lake too, and you can catch them there on a faster moving bait in 8 to 10 feet of water. So let the weather dictate where you find the walleye on Broken Bow. Let's get to some of your regional fishing reports. Let's go to Texas. Here's Brian Hughes.
Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by A1 Locksmiths. Family owned since 1949, A1 is your #1 source for locks, keys, alarms, and of course, Liberty gun safes. Keep your valuables safe from theft or fire. Now this week, first thing we have to do is congratulate the Kaufman High School Bass Team, which just won the Texas State High School Bass Championships with over 19 pounds. Way to go, guys. We're gonna go out to Lake Whitney and catch some stripers. You'll wanna start your morning up on the bluffs and ledges. Use one of the soft plastic paddle tail shad on about a 1/2 ounce jig head in the shallower water. Later in the day, you'll move out over the river channel, up that head size to about 1 ounce or 1.5 ounces, and watch your electronics. When you find a school of fish, remember to keep that bait above those fish. If they're at 25 feet, don't fish 30, fish 20, and you'll catch stripers on Lake Whitney. Now, bass on Whitney are staying shallow most of the day, and you are starting to see a topwater bite. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by A1 Locksmiths. Remember to click on my picture to get more on the Lone Star State on SouthwestOutdoorsReport.com. Let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's report is brought to you by Port Aransas on Mustang Island, the fishing capital of Texas, where anglers enjoy pristine bays, estuaries, 18 miles of surf, and the deep blue waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Plus, the local restaurants will even cook your catch come sundown. Come fish and play Texas Island style. For more information, visit the website on the screen. Well, there are a variety of patterns on the Texas coast this week. On the lower end of Sabine Lake, birds are working over shrimp in water 5 to 7 feet deep. At the jetties, nice redfish with trout are mixed in and continue to be caught. East Galveston Bay is holding good specs, but anglers are having to play the wind. Fish the leeward shorelines with either live bait or a variety of artificial lures. Around Matagorda, when the winds blow, head to the back lakes. Otherwise, fish the south shoreline or mid-bay reefs. Plus, there are early reports of the surf turning on when the winds are light. Near Rockport, Estes Flats, potholes continue to produce good catches of redfish on fresh-cut mullet. Use a 1 ounce slip weight on a Carolina rig to hit the potholes and wait. If you don't get bit in a few minutes, adjust, but don't go far. Simply move and anchor again. The land cut is full of tide runners making their way toward the mouth of Baffin Bay. Fish the edge of the grass lines or around the rocks of Penascal. On the lower Laguna Madre, South Bay, Long Bar, Mexiquita Flats, and south of Cullens are producing good catches of trout on a variety of baits under a popping cork. This weekend, both Saturday and Sunday have a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides each day. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
All right, hey, I got a crankbait fish. Oh, that's a decent walleye. Oh yeah, look at here. Look at that dude right there. That's a nice walleye there. Hey, welcome back everybody. Your SOR is at Broken Bow, southeastern Oklahoma, and let's talk for just a second about walleye fishing here. My good friend Bryce Archie is a guide here, and he tells me that you've got to fish a moving bait here all the time. What that means is, if there's a little wind, like right now we've had just a little bit of wind come up, see the ripple on top of the water, that's all it takes. You just don't want a bright sky with a dead calm wind. So I got a little wind came up, so I picked up a little medium diving crankbait. I'll show it to you at the end of the show on the Academy Right Stuff. And you just keep it moving. Now, if the fishing gets real slow, the sun gets high up overhead like we talked about earlier, you've got to slow down with a grub. you still got to keep it moving. You don't want to fish vertical for these fish. You want to make long casts, let it go to the bottom, hop it back in, or with a crankbait, keep it moving. But these walleye bite it on the move, according to Bryce. All right, let's move along right now, check on the rest of Oklahoma. Here's Gary Dollar.
Okay, Oklahomans, we're having to deal with some rising waters again, but you ought to be used to this, especially those that like Hula and Copan. Those lakes have been impacted greatly by the recent double-digit rainfall in those areas, and other lakes in the northeast area probably going to also be coming up as well. So keep an eye on those. Go to my insider page, southwestoutdoorsreport.com. Click on my link, Oklahoma lake levels, and you can find out what's happening at that exact time that you're looking. One area not impacted, Lake Texoma, and the striper fishing is good down there right now. April 24th, Steve DeSomer from Hera, Oklahoma, caught a new lake record on the Oklahoma side, 20.4 pounds. Caught it around the railroad bridge using a live shiner. I talked to Chris Caldwell, the longtime striper guide on Lake Texoma, and he said the striper fishing is really good right now. He said most fish have moved out of the spawning areas back down around to the Two Rivers area, and you can catch those fish there 35 to 45 feet deep over 50 foot of water. He said the live shad are working extremely well right now, and the shad are plentiful in the lake and easy to catch for those of you who like to throw cast nets to catch your own bait. He said those thread fin are running about 3.5 to 4 inches, perfect size for catching the stripers and what they're doing right now. He said he can also drop a jigging spoon down there and a lead head with a soft plastic. Now the LaRue Sweet Swimmer is a 3.5 inch minnow type bait that fits that size of bait perfectly for what those stripers are feeding on. Good choice if you don't want to mess with live bait. Stripers are fun fish to catch for the entire family. One thing about it, you can't catch them if you don't go.
Your SOR is on the road today at Broken Bow Lake in southeastern Oklahoma. What a gorgeous place this is, and a fantastic walleye fishery. Let me tell you a little more about the walleye here at Broken Bow. Now, I came a day early yesterday to do some scouting before our cameraman and camera gear were here. All I had was my little suction cup camera, and you're looking at some of the video that I shot yesterday catching some really nice sized walleye. Now, the walleye here are structure-oriented fish. They get on rock points, underwater rock piles, and underwater ridges. They don't so much get on weeds or stumps, anything like that. Now, the walleye are fairly nomadic. They roam fairly open water, and they feed on perch and shad. Now, the prime times to catch them are spring and fall. You really don't want to come walleye fishing in the hot part of the summertime, because these fish migrate out to very deep water, over 100 feet of water. They suspend. They're almost impossible to catch in the hot middle of the summertime. If you're coming to this area, you might want to stay at the Pine Meadow Cabins where we stay. Ruby and her crew do a great job renting out some beautiful cabins stuck back in the woods. They've got jacuzzi hot tubs, got a little lake in the back for the kids to fish in. Very comfortable cabins, everything you'd want at Pine Meadow Cabins. You're looking at some shots there of some of the cabins and also their telephone number and their web address. And if you want to book a guide trip here, Bryce Archie is the go-to guy. You're looking at his information on your screen as well. He fishes here year-round. He fishes for about 6 different species of fish, stays on top of those fish. You're guaranteed a great guide trip if you go with Bryce Archie. You can give him a call. We'll be back for more from Broken Bow after this.
The Southwest Outdoors Report is brought to you by Mercury, the official outboard of the Southwest Outdoors Report for 10 years running. By Excite, start positive, stay positive. By Lou's Reels and Rods, feel the difference. By Whataburger, proud to serve it hot and fresh 24 hours a day. And by Onyx Personal Flotation Devices and Rainwear, keeping you safe on the water.
Running back the other way. Hope it's a crappie. Oh, it is. Big one, big one, big one. Don't do it, don't do it. Got him. Look at that dude. Man. Oh, everything else grows big in Broken Bow. Why wouldn't the crappie? Look at the size of that dude. He looks like a post spawner, real skinny. And you can see right here. Hey, welcome back everybody. Your Southwest Outdoors Report. Trying to do a little slam action here. Several different species of game fish at Broken Bow in southeastern Oklahoma. See this rock point behind me? It slopes out here, but then it drops straight off of a little ledge, and I just picked up my little Wally Marshall crappie rod there, little Wally Marshall reel, and I just pitched it up on that ledge and let it fall off, and a big one hit it, and we're gonna keep crappie. Crappie do not get pitched back in my boat. Let's check in right now with Cajun Phil and Kevin in Louisiana.
Hi friends, Cajun Phil here with your Fox, Louisiana Fishery Report. Well, I tell you what, I want to start off this week by talking about False River. We've got several phone calls from the guys over at False River, and they say they're catching lots of bass right now. One of them said he was catching most of them on spinnerbaits and plastic. He's pitching around all of the boat docks. And if you've been to False River, you know how many boat docks they got. The other guy tells me that he's catching them on both ends of the lake, fishing over the grass beds. He's been throwing small spinnerbaits and also a bait called the Hunchback, made by Strike Pro. Now I tell you what, I know this is a Louisiana report, but this past weekend I was over at Needmore Tackle and Ann's Tackle over around Lake Sam Rayburn because they had the Big Bass Classic going on, and I was there. I asked Ann, I said, Ann, what's one of the most popular baits you had? She said the Hunchback. Matter of fact, Ann even has one that's custom made just for her. So if you go by there, stop by, ask for the Hunchback by Strike Pro. It's really good. As far as the saltwater action goes right now, we talked to several guys that were fishing around the Hopedale area, catching lots of limit of speckled trout and redfish, along with a few drum and a few flounder. But right now, Hopedale seems to be really hot. They catch them on plastics under a popping cart. Lots of limits coming from that end of the state. Tell you what, till next time, this is old Cajun Phil for Captain Kevin, who's out here on Calcasieu Lake trying to catch a few, saying happy fishing and may God bless it. We're going to see you folks next week.
The catfish will be spawning soon across our region, and on this week's Lowrance Hot Lake of the Week, I'm going to show you one of the better catfishing hotspots in the state of Texas. It's Cedar Creek Lake, located in East Central Texas. So let's go right now to the Lowrance HDS-10, the Gen 2 unit that I've got on my Nitro Bass boat right now. This unit is much faster than the previous Gen 1 units. You press a command, it goes right to it. Now, we locate Cedar Creek Lake between Malakoff and Maybank, Texas. The spawn for catfish happens in the area north of Gun Barrel City, near the State Highway 334 bridge here. The area north of there is a big shallow flat, so be very careful running your boat. There are lots of stumps here. We zoom in for some detail and locate that bridge again, and several big underwater flats that always hold both channel and blue catfish in these 4 areas. Now you can either drift fish or cast for these spawning catfish. Your best bets for bait are cut shad or bait shrimp. That's this week's Lowrance Hot Lake of the Week. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll have your expert answers to your fishing questions on the Ask the Pro. We'll have your big fish photo on the Costa Catch of the Week, and somebody wins free Costa sunglasses, and I'll have your Academy Right Stuff.
The Southwest Outdoors Report is brought to you by Nitro Performance Bass Boats. Fish your best in a Nitro. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. Quality soft plastic baits made in Oklahoma with American pride. By Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. And by Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Engineering for angling.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time now for our Whataburger Ask the Pro feature. Our question this week is from Terry in Dallas, who asks, what is the best way to rig a plastic worm? For the answer, let's check with 2003 Bassmaster Classic champion, Mike Iaconelli.
You know, there's 2 ways that I love to rig a plastic worm. The first one is Texas style. And you know, Texas style is using an offset hook, and you want to pick the hook size based on the size of the worm. So a 5 or 6 inch worm, use a 2/0 hook. A 7 or 8 inch worm, use a 3/0 hook. And then a big 10 or 12 inch worm, use a 5 or a 6/0 hook. The second way I like to rig a plastic worm is called wacky style. And all that means is you're taking a hook and you're rigging the plastic worm directly in the middle of the worm. And for wacky rigging, I like to use a 1/0 or a 2/0 offset hook. Rig it right in the middle, throw it out, twitch your rod. You're going to catch a lot of big fish.
If you have something to ask one of our pros, just visit the website at southwestouttdoorsreport.com, click on the Ask the Pro link, and send us your question. Have a great weekend. Now it's time for your Costa Big Catch of the Week.
Time now for the Costa Catch of the Week. Congratulations this week to Granddad Tommy Davis and grandson Blake Rogers of Lincoln, Arkansas. They're shown here with a 7-pound, 13-ounce largemouth bass they caught at Lincoln Lake. They will win a brand new pair of Costa sunglasses, and the Costa frame style this month is called Jose. These are new for this year. They're the same ones that I've been wearing on today's episode. They come in 2 frame colors and 5 lens colors, and you can get all the information online at costadelmar.com. And if you'd like to enter the contest and have a chance to win your own pair of Costas here on the show, just go to our website. If you're not already a member of our fan club, join it. It's free, and once you do, send in your big fish photo and maybe you can win a brand new pair of Costa sunglasses. Next up is the Academy Sports and Outdoors Right Stuff feature, the right stuff you'll need to catch walleye at Broken Bow Lake. If you're fishing fast with a lot of wind and a darker day, you can catch them on a crankbait. You can see there that's a medium diving, about an 8-foot deep crankbait, and you fish that on a bait cast rod and reel with about 10-pound test fluorocarbon line. If they're a little slower, then you'll need to throw a swim bait. That's in the middle of your screen. It's a little pearl colored Jean LaRue Sweet Swimmer rigged on a 1/4 ounce open jig head. And then if they get difficult, the sun gets bright, the fish move out deeper, and you need to slow down, then you'll need to throw a 1/4 ounce jig head with a small 3-inch grub. Either a smoke or a pumpkin or a chartreuse color will work fine. I've always loved broken bow, but I have a reason to enjoy it even more now with a catchable population of walleye now in the lake. If you'll employ some of the techniques and gear that we talked about on today's show, I think you'll have a legitimate chance to come here, catch some walleye of your very own to take home. Thanks for joining us on today's show. We'll see you next week. Until then, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.